Generation after generation, handle business without hesitating. Say the world gon' change, but I'm still waiting. I done ran out, but I'm still patient. Who is the man, yeah, with the bands, yeah, with the plans, yeah. Who they gon' call when they come in the bam, yeah.
Chef.
Too much chef coming through there. Hey. Too much chef run through there.
Chef.
Who you gon' call us a shootout? Black man looking for a way out.
Chef.
Ooh, blessing all his black suits and all the fancy shoes. Hey.
Chef.
Who is the man? Too much chef. Who is the man? Too much chef. Who is the man? Too much chef. Who is the man?
Chef.
Too much chef coming through there. Hey. Too much chef run through there.
Chef.
Who you gon' call us a shootout? Black man looking for a way out. Man. Ooh, blessing all his black suits and all his fancy shoes. Generation after generation, handle business without hesitating. Say the word gon' change.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to episode 307, a rare all-cock edition of Film Bastards. My name's Ian Loring, and as always, I am joined by
Mark Cock
and
Noel Cock.
And I am also Ian Cock. So Becky is stuck at work.
Yeah, she's got a presentation thing to do tomorrow. She's got a presentation to do tomorrow for the new members of staff she's getting, and she literally found out about it at about 4 o'clock today.
Yep, that sounds like
she didn't want to be double-minded about 4K, did she? So okay, we can just say it.
All right. Let's just, I need to talk about that. So what we're going to be doing this week, we're going to be talking Spider-Man Far From Home. We are going to be talking Shaft. We're not going to be talking What We Do in the Shadows because Noel's on and, you know, asking Noel to watch a film just because we have to watch a film for the Patreon audience felt a little bit cheeky. So, you know, you've got Shaft instead and you got Noel. So, you know, I think that's a fair fucking swap to me. So, since the last time Noel was on, Noel has embraced the world of 4K. Noel, describe to us your TV and describe to us the experience.
My TV it's the same as yours, but it's the newer model apparently. So it is the 43 inch. Did I got what is it?
No, you got 49 inch, didn't you?
49 inch. Sorry, yeah, 49 inch. Yeah, because there was discussion around. So initially, what happened is our old TV was a 37 inch 1080p Samsung. I'd had it for probably about 9 years. The sound had started to go on it a little bit, but then things started to go wrong with the remote control, and the volume started to go weird, and then the volume just started switching itself off randomly, and I said, no, fuck this, it's time to upgrade. Claire's always been a bit nervous about us getting a bigger TV, and I've always wanted a bigger TV. So there was a whole discussion about how big we could go. I initially said, all right, well, we can at least take it up to 40, and then 40 became 43 because the bezel on our old TV was 3 inches all the way around anyway.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. Well done.
Yeah, I figured, well, it's only going to be that size anyway, and maybe an extra inch all the way around or something like that. Then I started to dig around a little bit at the different options and discussed some options with you, Ian, and I was trying to stick to a budget and stuff. And then it kind of became clear that I wasn't going to, you know, you don't buy a new TV very often, so I decided I needed to stump up a bit more money and just go a little bit bigger and pushed it up to a 49 inch. Claire agreed with that, so we went with 49 inch, and it's the perfect size for the space. So it feels like we've, you know, without even switching it on, it feels like we've got a nice new TV upgrade. Super slim bezel, LG 49 inch with 4K obviously, HDR, Freeview Plus, and all the assorted accoutrements as well. So we've had it about 3 weeks now. Getting the living room decorated, so it will be mounted, but just not. So at the moment, I'm just trying to keep the hands of my 2-year-old, the sticky hands of my 2-year-old daughter away from it, which is giving me serious anxiety on a daily basis. But yeah, I think the first thing I did with it is got it unpacked, got it out, and went straight to Netflix and tested it out with Our Planet on Netflix. The reason I went for that is because that's 4K with HDR, and I wanted to make sure I was testing it with HDR. That looked insane. It just looked completely immersive and just, like it was completely 3D. It looked incredible. That night we watched Black Mirror, and then since then I've watched a few things on Netflix in 4K. So Murder Mystery, more Black Mirror, some other bits and bobs, obviously animation for the kids. But then yesterday I finally got round to testing out Into the Spider-Verse in 4K.
Oh shit, yeah.
Fucking hell,
Yeah.
that's special. That is really special. Even just the opening idents, you're just like, oh shit. So I watched that in 4K. We watched bits of it in 4K. So we watched the opening 10, 15 minutes or so, and then I went through and watched a couple of different scenes. So the main scene I wanted to see what it looked like in 4K was the What's Up Danger sort of scene, with sort of building drop, and it's just absolutely stunning. So I'm gonna watch Spider-Verse in 4K all the way through at the weekend. But as a sort of test run yesterday, I just had a go at that, and it's definitely the best thing I've seen on there. So yeah, my only minor gripe with the TV itself was the fact that for a few days I was watching stuff on Netflix with the motion smoothing switched on, and I was starting to get a little bit disappointed because what was it I was watching? It was Rim of the World. So I was watching Rim of the World, and the motion smoothing was switched on, and I was just like, this looks so fucking cheap. And it looked like, I think the comparison I made to you, Ian, was it looked like Andy's Dinosaur Adventures, the children's BBC show.
Which by the way, that picture that you put up, I kind of ripped off for an Instagram post, which people in my work were fucking loving. But yeah, sorry.
Great content all the way. So yeah, I mean, that's my only gripe, is that motion smoothing, when you disable it on one thing, you have to individually disable it on all things. Every time I've disabled it, I've gone, so I'll put Amazon on and I'll disable it, and then I'll go onto Netflix and it's not disabled, even though I've done the apply to all inputs thing. So it's a minor gripe, because now everything is set to true motion off, so it's fine. But it just means that, I don't know, I guess for whatever reason, the apply to all inputs thing doesn't seem to work. But it's a minor gripe, because
that's annoying.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, because I literally didn't know. I thought I'd applied to all inputs, so I was watching something in 4K and I was going, I'm not sure about this 4K. I'm not sure. I think it might be a bit too real and a bit too sharp. But the problem was, true motion was on and I just didn't know it. So,
I know people kind of made fun of that Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise post about turning off motion smoothing, and I know that people were kind of evangelical about it, but it's it's a point. Why the fuck is that a default? Why?
So can I question then quickly? In terms of the motion smoothing thing, when they have these TVs on display in stores.
They've got it on.
They've got it on, because Becky's main gripe with 4K is she thinks it doesn't look real. So it looks colourful, it's bright, it's like that, but it doesn't look real.
It looks plasticky, yeah.
Real things, look plasticky. Is that the motion smoothing then?
Literally,
yes.
In the menu in my TV, and probably Noel's because it is the latest version, there is a home mode or store mode. And you put it on store mode and it cranks it up to vivid. It completely loses the detail. It loads up the motion smoothing. And it's Yes, it's like looking at it in a store, which for nature documentaries like Our Planet would look amazing. Don't get me wrong. The motion smoothing, like 60 frames per second kind of look to real life documentary stuff. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, Rim of the World would look horrific. I mean, like anything with motion smoothing on that's a film looks fucking horrific.
Ah, that's interesting. So next time I'm in a store and I'm trying to sell it to Becky, if I literally just pick up the remote and try and set up the motion smoothing thing, it might sort it out. She might come round to it.
The thing is, there's a couple of things that I've noticed. I mean, what bothers me about it is that there's probably, millions of TVs all around the world that are really badly set, and they're paying for something, they're not getting the best out of it. So the true motion thing is, or motion smoothing generally, is one thing. It's also when I set that up, something that was bothering me for like the first. What you want to do is you want to unbox something, put it out, press go, and see it at its very best straight away. I'm
pretty much tempted to jack off to this, by the way, Noel. Like I've never been so turned on by you in all my life.
But no. So the other thing that bothers me is there's this other setting that's called LED dimming, is it?
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. So LED dimming is, so you've got, so the backlight settings, for example, out of the box, the backlight was set to 100. So where you really want the backlight, Ian may disagree, and my backlight's set at about 35.
Yeah.
Between 30 and 35, I find is about right. Anything lower than that's too dark. But your backlight is set on 100 when you get it, and this thing called LED dimming is on. And what it does is it follows the lightest points on the screen. I think this is how it works. I think it follows the lightest points in the screen and increases the backlight behind those things. So if you've got something that's quite contrasty and quite dark, you get this sort of bleed of light around things, like there's a spotlight following things around. And
can I give you the science bit?
Go on, yeah.
Okay, so basically, one of the differences between LED and OLED screens, right? So
it's like is this the shafts of light thing?
Well, yeah, So essentially, how LED panels work is that they're kind of almost like divided into sections.
Yeah.
So like you say, it's kind of like, is it like it's almost like a quarter vertical of the screen will be lit up, and if it moves right to left, it will kind of like
exactly. Yeah. And I looked it up. It's because of the way as you say, with LED TVs, it's like these shafts, the way the backlights are, it's like these shafts of light across the bottom of the screen, and each one of those lights up in accordance with where the lightest action is taking place.
So that's
you don't
it.
Get that. Yeah.
So with OLED, which you have to pay a lot more for, you don't get that because each individual like LED kind of like pixel is individually lit.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you don't get like the whole backlight doing it because it's like each individual tiny bit lights itself. Whereas with the panels that we have, there's basically 4 panels in the back that all, like, the whole thing will light up at once.
Yeah. And the higher your backlight, the more noticeable it is.
The brighter it is. And you can turn it off. But I mean, for me, I like it, and this is, I think this is down to personal preference. I have it on low just so it accentuates the dark bits compared to the light bits, but not like there's literally a fucking flashlight.
See, I find with contrast high, backlight at 35, that's right for me. I find the LED dimming even on low a distraction, just because I just start noticing it out of the corner of my eye. It really bugs.
That's fair. Like, I remember when I got the Apple TV 4K and my TV, we watched Spider-Man Homecoming, funnily enough, and it was bugging the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
And I had to Google it. It's like, what?
I did.
Like, I think I actually Googled why the fuck is my LG TV lighting up sections of the screen, because I was pissed. Then I eventually found out that it was because of this. So I did have it on off, but I'm kind of okay with low. But like, I think it is personal preference. High is a fucking insult to man.
It's almost like, do you remember that period of time where before LCD screens, you had those massive backlit projector TVs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had sort of like, they were as big as a CRT TV at the back, but they were sort of backlit, and they had this sort of like, you know, big illuminated sort of look to anything that was on the screen. It sort of reminds me of that, just a sort of, you know, washed out sort of overbled light. I can't stand it. It's terrible. That's out the fucking window.
I will say my Nate's TV, because this is my second 4K TV, because that's who I am. My Nate's TV, it will be years down the line, and it will be an OLED. Like, I'm not buying a non-OLED TV ever again, because I don't want this problem. But
I think this
literally it. Yeah.
This will be my TV for a good few years now. We you know, it's future proofed enough for me to get more joy, and it's made me watch more stuff as well. So that's great.
I mean, and to be clear, the only reason why this is my second 4K TV is because I bought a 4K TV before HDR was prevalent.
Yeah.
Which was an idiot move by me. So now I've got a Dolby Vision, and yours is Dolby Vision as well, but obviously, like, not everything is Dolby Vision, so that's a whole fucking thing in itself. But the HDR, it's the contrast. Like, for me, skies have never looked better, and it's like the fact that because you've got the high dynamic range and the high kind of contrast there, it's like you look in the sky in something that's in HDR, and you can kind of see the sun coming through clouds, and like that. I don't know. There's a more natural looking image with HDR, and I think that 4K does a certain amount. I will say, based on my experience between having a 4K TV and a 4K HDR TV, it's the HDR that really fucking gives them the net benefits. But I'm so fucking pleased you're happy with it, Noel. Like,
it's fantastic. It's really, really good, and I can't wait to get it mounted on the wall as well. It's just going to look absolutely beautiful. And the thing I like about that particular model as well, there was a lot of models that I looked at where the design of the actual screen I didn't like, but I love the bezel on this. Just a very slim, really dark sort of silver. Really sort of dark grey bezel, just clean. No bullshit sort of big chunky plasticky bits on it or anything. No ridiculous chrome. It's just clean, and we got the right TV for sure.
Mark, what the fuck? You got to get on it.
I know. One thing that conversation for some reason did remind me of was a fucking weird dream I had the other night.
Okay.
Right. Well, I often have quite odd dreams, and I always have them. But they're often quite indicative of things that are going on. And so it was last week when we were talking about something that you shared, Noel, on Twitter earlier today, I believe, about the creating a kind of like podcast community. And it was we were all spitballing on WhatsApp about something, how we could generate more interest in Film Bastards. And for some reason, Ian agreed to fight a live bear to promote Film Bastards. I don't know where it came from, but he agreed to fight the live bear. Right?
Who did, sorry?
Ian.
I did.
You did, right? Nice. It sounds like you.
On the day of this bear fight, Ian got pissed off when the bear came out, and he came out and they were in the boxing ring. Ian got pissed off because the bear came out in a pair of Under Armour shorts. And Ian was annoyed that his shorts were from Tesco, and the bear, who, as I quote from Ian in my dream, doesn't even really need shorts because he wouldn't wear shorts out in the whereas I'm a real person would wear shorts. I don't have sponsorship. Why has he got Under Armour shorts? before Ian would fight the bear, I had to go out and get Ian Under Armour shorts.
Well,
So yeah, I mean, my kind of recent obsession with Under Armour training gear
Look,
has
the weird
obviously
thing was-
infected your fucking life. God, my word.
Yeah. The weird thing was that was the day before you posted the Instagram thing
Of my trainers?
Of Bluetooth shoes. So
Yeah.
that was odd.
Yeah, and yeah. By the way, slight tangent. My fucking workout trainers are Bluetooth connected, and I don't know why.
That makes no sense. Does it track like things?
Yeah.
So your wife can make sure that you are actually going out for a run.
Yeah, no, maybe, I don't know. Like, it connects to the Map My Run app, and it's supposed to give you fucking. The thing is, I haven't done an outdoor run with it yet. I've been doing treadmill runs, but it's. I don't know. Like, I didn't buy them because I am a bit of a tech whore, but I didn't buy them because they were Bluetooth connected. I bought them because they were cheap. And it was like, right, and I literally, there's a fucking Bluetooth logo on the sole, and it was like, oh, it's so weird.
That's so fucking odd.
So I don't know, I've got Bluetooth shoes.
Don't step on your Bluetooth shoes.
Oh, well, there you go.
Bravo.
That's very good. So moving on. 40 minutes into the fucking recording, we haven't even done trailers yet. Trailers, what have you been watching?
What have I been watching? The new Charlie's Angel trailer, or the first Charlie's Angels trailer.
No.
I'm quite interested in the film, but the trailer's shit.
Princess Jasmine's in it, so I'm down.
The thing is, I'm absolutely down for the film. I think it's going to be. I like everybody that's in it. I like Elizabeth Banks as a director, but it's a crappy trailer that they basically just seem to be going. Charlie's Angels goes new Ariana Grande song, and that's it. So
I don't know. It feels like branding the issue, like the female empowerment issues of the last couple of years. It feels like a corporate version of very, very sincere things that women have been trying to do over the last couple of years.
yeah,
And I really, 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 really hope that it's fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
That it's basically not a mild telling off, whilst you're also going, hang on a minute, are you telling me off by doing everything that you're telling me off about?
Yeah, like Ocean's 8, I was worried that it was going to be almost like a. I like funny games, but almost like a funny games-esque. Why are you watching this?
Yeah.
I've almost got like. And I'm sure Charlie's Angels won't be that, but the trailer, I don't know, like it seems like there's a sense of excitement that's not there, because all it is these women are women.
Yeah.
And I think that's great, but I also think that this film needs to remember that it's a blockbuster.
It needs to be enjoyable.
Yeah, there needs to be some meat with the veggies.
Yeah, it's a little bit like, yeah. Yeah.
Not the best analogy.
No, that wasn't the best analogy, was it? Well, you got Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, though. It's like that wasn't the best analogy, but it was trying to get across what I was saying. I don't know.
The only issue I have with it, I hope it's fun. It looks like it intends to be fun, and I agree with Mark. I think it might be just that they're trying to get something across in this trailer, and maybe they are forgetting that they need to put bums on seats for this, because it's, it's a very old franchise. It's not been seen for a while, and the last version of it wasn't necessarily adored. The main issue I have with it is I don't like the branding. It looks cheap, and it looks.
It does look a little bit like a pilot for a TV show made in 2004.
Yeah, or a new brand of vaping kit or something. Just it's got that sort of.
What, like literally the logo?
Yeah. It sort of looks like the old one a bit, but a bit sort of shinier and cheap. And I don't know. I just feel like they could have done something a bit more modern with it. Maybe
like the intern did it.
Yeah, like the intern did it, but based it on the old designs a little bit, and then they got some help from somebody who designs vaping kits.
Yeah, the intern did it while taking a shit.
Yeah, I'm just. It's a small thing, but these things bug me.
What else have we got? New Jumanji trailer.
Yeah, all over that.
I'm very up for that. Saw it before for the first time. Actually, I didn't watch it before this, but I saw it in the cinema before Spider-Man. And I think it only dropped. I think like that day online. So it was quite nice to see it before Spider-Man as well. I had no idea that it was The Rock and Kevin Hart were playing Danny Glover.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
So that was quite nice. What is it? I'm literally I had the complete giggles at the end joke bit.
What was the end joke?
Where Kevin Hart / Danny Glover's character is basically saying, "Is he having a stroke?" I just telling him to breathe.
Yeah, that was good.
I could not fucking stop laughing. I think Kevin Hart is going to destroy me in that film.
The thing is, like, the first one came out around the time of like Star Wars Last Jedi, and people thinking, it's not gonna do well, and it ran, and this looks like it's gonna kind of do the same thing with the Rise of Skywalker, and it's like, I think there's a certain school of thought that would be, I'm looking forward to Jumanji the Next Level more than Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. I'm intrigued to see The Rise of Skywalker and see what they do. I'm also apprehensive about the fact that after the ballsy shit they did with The Last Jedi, that there's going to be some retconning shit going on with that. And I wonder, would I rather spend 2.5 hours with Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and face potential disappointment, or spend 2 hours with Jumanji The Next Level and know I'm going to get The Rock is Danny DeVito?
Yeah, I must admit I am more looking forward to Jumanji The Next Level just because I think I'm going to find it more entertaining.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. I think you're right. If the problem is we've had a very daring, and I'm not going to start waxing lyrical about The Last Jedi again, but we've had a very daring, very interesting Star Wars movie, and it didn't go down well because people are fucking idiots. So what we're going to get now is a J.J. Abrams Star Wars movie that's safe as fuck. And I'm not really interested in another safe Star Wars movie that serves fans, of which I am not one. Whereas, as you say, Jumanji 2 or 3, however you want to look at it, that's going to be a good time. That's going to be a really fun time.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, I've just got to say, The Last Jedi, I hate myself for my review of that more and more every single time I think about it, because Rian Johnson was fucking trying some shit in that film. He was really going for it, and he was mixing things up, and I'm sorry that I was such a fucking dick about it, and I will eat up my trouble with the notion of being put on hold. I'm just it still doesn't settle well with me, but I hate the fact that I let that bother me so much that I was the most meh person in that review.
The thing is, Ian, there's going to be an awful lot more people out there that are eating an awful lot more humble pie about that film in the years to come. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I guarantee people are going to backtrack on that film a lot, and Star Wars fans as well. It'll end up being, you know, the empire of that particular trilogy. That particular trilogy. People will fucking backtrack on that. So yeah, fuck 'em.
That fight in the throne room, the fucking colour in that fucking thing, and the staging of that fucking thing. My God.
Yeah.
And does that not bring us neatly to the next trailer?
I think it might do, yeah.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Knives Out looks fun.
It does look fun, yes. It's a very busy trailer.
I am all there for what was it, KFC CSI or CSI KFC. That's a fucking great. Yes, I will watch this.
I think just looking at it as a package of all of those individual extremely talented and extremely charming actors in a bottleneck sort of like locked up in a house with Daniel Craig chewing the scenery and Chris Evans getting to do something very different to what he's been doing recently. Fucking hell, like, yes, please. Yeah, I'll have that right now.
Mark?
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to the film. Again, it's a trailer that just made me go, there's an awful lot going on in this trailer. It's quite busy.
Yeah, it's no, I agree with that. And I mean, like Ryan Johnson's already said, he would rather people didn't watch the trailer because there are shots in there that he'd rather people see for the first time in the cinema. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like, to be fair, I think it's pretty out of context though. Like, it's not like anything's really had the game given away. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else?
I've got one that I wanted to throw at you, a bit of a random one. So, sort of following on from what we were just talking about 4K, this might make me a lot less popular because it opens some old wounds between me and Ian. I saw a trailer before Spider-Man Far From Home for the, I want to say 30th. That can't be right. For the anniversary edition of The Matrix, which is coming back to cinemas.
Oh,
right. Yeah.
Which is apparently remastered. That looks like absolute shit on the big screen. If those are remastered scenes that I was seeing there, it looks absolutely horrible.
So it's not that they've redone effects.
It's not the effects. It's the sort of washed out, grainy, washed out, crappy. Like, it just looks terrible. Was that? I mean, presumably a lot of that was shot digitally, and probably half of it shot digitally and half of it shot on film. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I have The Matrix in 4K Dolby Vision and on iTunes, and yeah, it doesn't look amazing. I don't know whether this is again a new master because maybe they previously mastered it in 2K, and maybe they took a 2K source originally and now they've got a 4K source. I don't know. I know what you're talking about though, because the Cineworld near me are doing a 4DX version of The Matrix, I think next Saturday night, which sounds like hell on earth to me. Yeah. But yeah, it's the noise and the grain will not be. Yeah, I need to look this up. I'm sorry.
It's a bit like what I was saying before about the backlight. It looks like the backlight is turned right up, or the contrast has been turned down really low, and the brightness has been turned really. It's just that really sort of pale. It's like there's a pale grey filter over everything. It just looks dreadful.
I think that's just the way the Matrix kind of looks, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I know, but that's the thing. It's like in the sequences that involve Neo, walking around his office, when Neo's in the Matrix, living in the Matrix. I get that, because what they're trying to get across is that it's this sort of, fake grey world that has no colour and stuff. But all of everything in the sequences, the special effect sequences, the fun sequences that are in that trailer, it all just looked shit.
I'm still looking this up. Sorry.
Go on.
So it was. Yeah, all right, that makes sense. So it was shot on Super 35, which is what James Cameron used to shoot Terminator 2 on. So it is like super grainy.
Mm.
But the thing is, if you, this is really reopening old wounds. This is like almost like decade old stuff. This is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you take. I think I said it then, and I'll say it now.
I find the grain distracting, Ian.
That's fine, but if you take the grain out, you're going to lose the detail, and it's going to look like the fucking DNR version of Predator, and no one wants that. No one wants that. So, but I think I've become a lot more diplomatic in saying that I could understand how the grain would be distracting, because it is like a visual impedance. But
the thing is, there's a middle ground, though. That's the thing. I don't know if it's to do with film stocks or this, Super 35.
It's film stocks.
Yeah, but but there's a middle ground, and I'm not saying things should look like they were shot digitally. I appreciate the quality of something being shot on 35mm, but when it's blown up and this grainy, it's very distracting. It's very distracting.
I think that's totally fair. I mean, the thing is, it's like if you were to, say you had something like when Lawrence of Arabia comes out in 4K, that will probably be one of the greatest fucking at-home cinema experiences you'll ever have, because the grain won't be there, but it will retain the filmic quality. Super 35 is this. I don't know what the history behind it is, but I'm not a fan of it myself. And Terminator 2 has always looked not great in like HD and 4K formats because of it. Like the 4K version of Terminator 2 is really not brilliant. Because because of the graininess, but it's just that if you didn't have that there, it would also look really waxy. So it's almost like personal preference. Do you prefer the wax or do you prefer the grain?
Mm.
So instead of saying "fuck you, Noel, you're wrong," like I would have done in the past, I think it is that personal preference thing. For me, I would rather have the grain. What I would recommend to you is
not going to see The Matrix.
No, yeah, there is
I'll
that.
stay at home and watch it on DVD.
Like, have a look at the Blu-ray of Predator. Just at
I know, yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that very well. Yeah.
And
in fact, it might have been that started this whole debate originally as well.
Remind me, what did you think of the Blu-ray of Predator?
It looked rubbish. It looked soft and waxy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's it. It's unfortunately
It's not dissimilar to the sort of the motion smoothing thing where it's creating a sort of fake reality around it that doesn't exist and ends up making it feel weird. So yeah.
I've got to say, could you imagine how bored Becky would be if she was on this recording? Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah,
she's dodged a bullet, hasn't she?
Yeah, I think she might have. But that's the thing. So it's like, if with Super 35 filmed films, you kind of have to deal with one or the other. But I get what you're saying.
Well, I'm just glad we've settled this after all these years, Ian.
Yeah. I feel more at peace.
But But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because I noticed it and I thought it was odd. I just thought it was very odd, especially seeing as the trailer is going to great pains to sort of say it's back and it looks better than ever. So yeah, it just seems odd.
I'm gonna slightly tangent again, and I'm so sorry. Do you guys have a time limit tonight, by the way? Because I'm a little. No.
Not particularly, but no, I'm knackered, but not a time limit.
Okay, let us know if you need to speed things along. Okay, what I want to say, I've said this before. All this shit about new 4K restoration, it looks better than ever. Blah 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 blah. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because when I went to see The Matrix in the Salisbury Odeon in '99, it was on a 35mm print. Now you're going to be watching maybe 4K version of it, but it is not going to look as good as an opening night 35mm print, because the 35mm print resolution is more akin to 6 to 8K. So you're saying it's better than ever. No, it's not. It's like when they did this with Mulholland Drive a year or two back, and they were saying new re-release, new 4K restoration, blah, 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 blah. No, when I went to see that in the Watershed in Bristol, that was off a print and it looked fucking brilliant then. It's not going to look as good at home. A 4K restoration, yeah, absolutely. Best at home experience you'll ever have. At the cinema, no. Stop conning people saying that it's the best fucking experience. Like 4K restoration, go see it, it'll blow your mind. If you want to go see that film on a big screen, yep, have at it. It's not going to be as good as if you went to see it in the cinema originally. Done. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Sense.
So.
Well, Fury asked me to come up here and see how you were doing. He felt bad about snapping at you.
Really?
You guys do have sarcasm on this earth, right? How you feeling?
I didn't think I was gonna have to save the world this summer. I know that makes me sound like such a jerk. I had this plan with this girl that I really like, and now it's all ruined.
I like you, Peter. You're a good kid. There's a part of me that wants me to tell you just turn around, run away from all this, and then there's another part of me that knows what we're about to fight, what's at stake. And I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
But you're worried about your friends.
Yeah. Just always feel like I'm putting them in danger.
Look, just get them inside and keep them in a safe place for just a few hours and they'll be all right.
It's really nice to have somebody to talk to about superhero stuff, you know?
Anytime.
Spider-Man Far From Home is directed by John Watts and stars Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jake Gyllenhaal, Martin Starr, Jon Favreau, Marissa Tomei, Jacob Batalon, and others. And it concerns Peter Parker, who... Actually, not going to say this too loudly because Donna hasn't seen Endgame and has not been spoiled on it. After the death of Iron Man, is wondering where he fits in the world. He's getting a bit sketched out about the fact that he seems to be the new Iron Man. And is wondering what to do with life. He just wants to have a vacation. He wants to get with MJ. But, wouldn't you know it, there's some elementals going around and shit needs to be done. Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, is there to try and help. And Spider-Man thinks, hey, could Mysterio basically do all this shit for me so I don't have to step up? And the film goes from there. Noel, our comic book correspondent, who I never ever know which way he is going to feel about a film, and it's a treat every time. Even though, to be fair, I saw your comments on WhatsApp yesterday, so I think I do know. What did you think of Spider-Man Far From Home?
I really enjoyed it. It's great. It's good fun. I don't think it's perfect. I think it suffers a little bit from sort of jumping around from one thing to another. I think there's a section in the middle where he seems to be traveling around a lot, and it's not really that necessary. So it's not perfect. But I had a really good time with it. The relationship between him and Zendaya has really grown on me more in this film. I enjoyed the fact that the how would you put it, the martyrdom of Tony Stark. Because I mean, I think the surprise for me with it was that the post Endgame thing, you kind of expected a lot of maybe the first 20 minutes of the film to be Peter Parker moping about and feeling sorry for himself because Tony's dead. Whereas actually how it kind of came across is that the martyrdom of Tony Stark is kind of a problem for him. And it doesn't go as far as to say that he resents Tony Stark, because there are moments where he cries and he says he misses him. But it does sort of suggest that there is a sort of brewing resentment around the burden that's now on his shoulders because of it. And I just thought that, coupled with the struggle to have a life and the struggle to just be a teenage boy and fall in love, that sort of dichotomy, if you like, of those two things bashing up against each other, made for a really interesting backdrop to, flip. So I loved it. Great time.
Cracking. Mark.
I'm very similar in the sense that I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's top tier Marvel for me. I have a few issues with it. None of them major, just a few little minor things. But overall, I think that the fact that it's so entertaining. I think also as well, a little bit, I purposely didn't. I did two things actually different to what I normally do with a film with this. One, I didn't look at how long it was. So I had no idea how long it was going in. And two, I sat right at the fucking front as an experiment. On the front row to see it having all of that noise and all of the crap and the worrying about people getting the phones out and everything like that behind me, if that would make a difference. And it did. So I think...
Yay, welcome to my world.
Yeah, so I think I'm from now on, I'm like, do you know what? Yeah, I have to look up at the screen, but when you come out of it, you get a little bit. You go, ooh, neck's itching a little bit with that. But
okay, I'll see you in row 3, Mark.
Yeah, I didn't have the. We had, and it was quite a busy screening of this film. When you turned round, there were 6 rows behind us without anybody sat in them, and then the rest of it was all just jam fucking packed. So yeah, I was very up to that. But so it zipped along at such a pace that when they had the moments where it was a bit, it wasn't quite as strong as the other moments, it was still really entertaining. So I think, like I said, a few little minor gripes, but I never thought the film dropped below, as a consistent level, below like a 7. Whereas sometimes even a 9 out of 10 film can have 5-10 minutes where it drops to like a fucking 6 for a few minutes. This did. It was pretty much entertaining throughout. It was breezy enough post Endgame that you didn't feel too much like it felt entertaining. It was a lot of people were laughing at a lot of this movie when they were supposed to be laughing at, because it was consistently funny. I think having Martin Starr having a bigger role in it and having JB Smoove in it is a fucking great idea.
Having JB Smoove in anything is a great idea.
Yeah, JB Smoove anything is a great idea. He wasn't in the first one, was he? Or was he?
I don't think so. No,
he wasn't.
Remember. Yeah.
As soon as he turned up, I was like, "Oh shit!" I am all right. Fair enough. You've just got an extra star. So yeah, only.
That's literally what JB Smoove was probably thinking as well. Oh shit!
Yeah.
My only minor gripes with it are, and we'll come to talking about the bits. I wasn't a fan of the mid-credits sting and the post-credits sting. Which we'll get into later on.
Sorry, you weren't a fan?
I wasn't a fan, no.
How were you not? How?
When we get talking about that, I will unload my reasons then. But as well, I did feel myself at points going whenever MJ was on screen and talking, going, "We get it. You're dark. Stop bashing us over the head with it." But yeah, the whole MJ being, really dark and being like macabre thing just started to. There was too much hammering that home with me, and it started to hurt me a little bit.
So we were just saying about Jake Gyllenhaal's character as well, and there's a big moment for me. I can't remember if I said this when we were recording or not, but there's a big moment for me where I really want to see the moment again where he sort of says to Peter, "My name's Mysterio," because he gives him this weird, very Jake Gyllenhaal look that's just very difficult to describe what he's going for, but it's just really cool and really interesting.
It's almost a look now of him going, "Holy shit! I have like a fucking superhero name."
Yeah.
I like that.
and we know now that it's all part of his, getting Peter on side thing, really. So we were just discussing as well, Ian, the notion of Mysterio as being a classic Spider-Man Rogues Gallery villain. So a lot of mainstream audiences, they'll probably suspect that he's the villain, I guess, but actually what they do with him here is really, really interesting, because they do go back to his sort of comic book origin of him being somebody who's, a hero who couldn't, or a wannabe hero who couldn't be a hero and then defaulted to kind of being evil because of it. They sort of go back to that a little bit, but they give him a lot of stuff that relates to the wider the wider Marvel Comics universe, and then just kind of snatch it away. So they suggested it in the trailer that he's from another universe. So the whole idea of, yes, there's a multiverse and he's from another part of it, that was a really interesting concept when it came across in the trailer. It was like, oh my God, this is a multiverse thing. Anything is possible. And then he's the one who actually comes forward and says, and explains in that bit of exposition, oh, my Earth is Earth this, and your Earth is Earth 616. So Earth 616 in the Marvel Comics continuity is our Earth. It's the Marvel. So they give all that to him. They give him the notion of a multiverse, and they give him the opportunity to name our Earth Earth 616. And then they just sort of snatch it away and go, oh no, you just made all that up. So that's quite interesting, I thought. They used him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, what I think what's interesting is that it kind of continues a thread of fucking about with what you think from the Marvel Comics, which I think dates back to Noel's favorite.
It's like the Mandarin.
Yes, yeah.
The Mandarin.
Yeah, I mean that's it. So you've got the Mandarin, you've got the Skrulls, which obviously they make an appearance in Spider-Man Far From Home as well, and it's this whole thing of now they've got this like back catalogue of villains, which they're kind of doing interesting things with, and they're not. It's not always that it turns out they're not the real bad guys, because obviously in Far From Home he is a real bad guy, but the kind of accoutrement that he's describing is different from what's actually got from the Marvel universe as well. So it's almost like you never know which way is up. And I think that's really interesting, and it's really ballsy, and I like the fact that it's almost like Kevin Feige going, nah, there's no other fucking universes, this is our universe, and it's all, I mean, you can almost interpret it as a fucking dig on the fucking Sony like Venom and Spider-Verse films even, just saying like this is the one continuity. Despite the fact the Spider-Verse is a better film than like 95% of the MCU films, if not 100%. Anyway, yeah, but Jake Gyllenhaal, he's a fucking star. I was really, really disappointed because you knew he was going to be the villain, but it was disappointing when he was, because I thought he was like just a really good, almost like older brother to Peter Parker. Like that worked really well early doors.
Yeah, it almost worked too well, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sorry, go on, Mark.
So as I was saying to Noel, it's at that moment I was thinking, hang on a minute, that's quite cool that we're going to get Jake Gyllenhaal is basically going to take, Mysterio's going to take that man along. And I started thinking, hang on a minute though, there's no way Jake Gyllenhaal signed on to do a shitload of movies. That's not Jake Gyllenhaal. So what's going on? And then it all starts. I was like, oh, bravo, you sneaky bastards.
Mm. It's nice as well that he gets to, I don't know, this has been sort of said a lot before, but it's nice as well that he gets to sort of ham it up a little bit in a Spider-Man movie after he was nearly Spider-Man all those years ago. It's his opportunity to not only be in a Spider-Man film finally, but be the bad guy and be a kind of hammy bad guy at times as well. So I just thought it was really nice that he got to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. It's interesting because there's a lot of talk on like social media about how he's like never really bothered with MCU films before, and he doesn't really like comic book movies, and he kind of just thought that this would be a fun gig. But he really takes to it, and it is a shame that we won't see him again. I mean, yes, he's a trickster and a kind of like a master of illusion, but it does kind of seem like, yes, he is dead, and obviously the mid-credits bit cements almost like his place in the MCU lineage, which is nice. But I don't know, it's just if I had I do have some criticisms with the film. I will say the scene he has where it's all revealed and he's like saying a toast to blah blah blah, who did this and this and this, and a toast to this person who did this and that. That stuck out like a sore thumb, and I really liked the way that it was. There was a couple of them that called back to aggrieved ex-workers.
Yeah, the guy, the Tony Stark bunch of scraps guy as well.
Yeah, I mean that is amazing.
That is not that actor, I don't think.
No, it's probably not that actor, but like the fact that they actually referred back to that is incredible. But the way that the dialogue is so, this person who did this and this and this, it doesn't
also
sit right.
Something that I'd forgotten about as well. I know what you mean. That scene where it's all revealed is a bit exposition-y a little bit, and I get it. I didn't mind that. I kind of liked it just because it was sort of, it got everything out on the table. And I think at that point I was like, right, you just got him to hand you the glasses. I know where this is going now. Let's just crack on with you being a bad guy now. So I think at that point I was fine with it. I was just like, yeah, it's this. He's got a crew. Let's move on. But the thing that I'd forgotten about is it also sets up something, a reoccurring joke for later, which is his costume woman. Where like he's sort of like fighting Spider-Man, and he's like, "How are you getting on with steam cleaning that cape? Because I'm literally going to be meeting the Queen in a bit." She's like, "I'm working on it."
And later on, you get the "Do you still in the cave?" Yes.
Yes.
You're about to die, but it's just it's little moments of kind of levity within that were very. They felt very Spider-Man.
Mm. Yeah. And I think the big thing for me, the big overall thing for me with this film and the last film is they've managed to I think Marvel Cinematic Universe for me is always at its most impressive when I'm impressed by how it's being managed. And I know how boring that sounds, but the thing that I've always said about the first phase of Marvel and culminating in the Avengers is, never should we underestimate what a brilliant management task that was in terms of managing expectations, managing cast, managing characters, managing tone, managing story, and managing to bring it all together in such a beautiful way and doing it right. What Sony and Marvel, I guess, have done with, but predominantly Marvel, what Marvel have done with this character is they've managed to strip away a lot of what makes Spider-Man iconic and a lot of what makes Spider-Man so familiar to us all, and just pop it away in the corner for a little bit. So with the first film, Homecoming, they've gone, all right, this is very, very small. It's about Spider-Man, and yes, he's in New York, but he's mainly in Queens, and it's just about him getting on with his life, and he's at school and stuff like that. But when it's not a film that's focused on him swinging through the streets of New York and, you know, leaping off tall buildings and fighting the Green Goblin and stuff in alleyways and above skyscrapers. And it's not that, because we've just seen that a fucking bunch of times and people don't need to see that again. So they took all that stuff and they put it in a locker over here, and then they made Homecoming, and it was great. And everybody got back on board with the character of Spider-Man and the character of Peter Parker and MJ to a degree. And now they've made this film where they've literally put him in other countries and have him touring around the world, which is not a very Spider-Man-y thing. And they've managed to sort of make it feel good and make it feel right and still make it feel cheeky and Spider-Man-y and fun. And they've done it across 2 films, which also plug into all these other films within the MCU. But they've done it across 2 films, and they've now, and this is what I was going to talk about with the end credits scene. They've now gone, right, now it's Spider-Man time. This next film that we're doing, Spider-Man 3, that's going to be Spider-Man time. Now Spider-Man's back in town. He's back in New York. He's going to be swinging through this, and he's going to be leaping off skyscrapers, and he's going to be facing his rogues gallery right in the middle of Manhattan, across all these, across all these landmarks and stuff like that. And they've managed to do it in such a way that you kind of forgot about all that stuff for a bit, and now it's a bit like, oh great, we're back here. We didn't want to be back here originally, but now we're back here. That's great. So, yeah, to get Spider-Man back to this very Spider-Man-y point makes me very excited for the next film, because we've had a couple of films that got away from that sort of typical stuff that we'd seen a lot of times.
Hey, I mean, that's interesting. I just, like, with the mid-credits, it's like, how the fuck are they going to resolve that? Because I think the next time we see Spider-Man will probably be the next Spider-Man film, because looking at the MCU kind of slate, it doesn't seem like there's going to be any team-up things for at least a few years now. So how is it going to pick up? Like, is it just going to be at the start of the next one, it's established that they, like, the remnants of S.H.I.E.L.D. are being able to prove that Mysterio was talking out his fucking arse? So now it's going to be kind of back to normal, but J. Jonah Jameson is going to be still suspicious of him, and then it's going to go from there. I hope so, because the thing I really like about this film and Homecoming is the fact that they are probably the 2 most charming films in the MCU, and I would hate for the third one to be Spider-Man's on the run or Spider-Man's out to clear his name. It's like you say, it's now we've kind of like reset. It would be nice to see him go against a traditional villain, but in the Tom Holland verse, and for him to have to almost like go, for it to go dark. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the right direction.
Can I throw a theory out here? So I think essentially what they're going to do with the next film is, like I say, I think they're going to make it much more of a New York story, because I think they've had that break now and they can do that, and people are ready to see Spider-Man in the big city again. I think they're going to do that. I think with what they have done a lot of is take their cues from a lot of modern Spider-Man stories, and they're not leaning too much on the traditional Golden Age, Spider-Man stuff. They're leaning a lot more on modern stuff. And I think what they will do is a little bit. They've essentially made him Iron Man by the end. By the end of this film, by saying, all right, now everybody knows his name. So we did the same thing with Tony Stark. Now everybody knows his name. We've removed that from the equation. He's got this multi-billion dollar AI system, and he's probably got access to a load of Stark tech. I think what they're going to do now is they're going to go, all right, well, we're not going to worry about the secret identity thing. We're going to take that forward, and we'll have a Peter Parker who's a little bit older, a little bit wiser. He's still Spider-Man, but he's doing the Parker Industries thing.
Okay.
So Parker Industries, I think it's called, is the sort of science division that Peter Parker sets up. It's about sort of, finding cures for things and developing technologies and stuff like that to do different things. I think a sensible way to take things forward would be to go, all right, he's kind of like Tony Stark now, and he's still being Spider-Man, but he's figuring out ways to do good on a broader scale with the technology that's afforded to him by Tony Stark. So, and that's also a good way to bring back Tony Stark AI, which is almost certainly going to happen.
Oh yeah, man! Like, can you imagine with the next one if they don't reveal anything pre-film, and then like in the third act he gets some sort of AI that's voiced by Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, I think that's a guarantee. I think that's a guarantee.
Mark, you haven't talked much, man. Like,
Sorry.
No, that's fine. It's fine. It's because I think I just overall really enjoyed the movie. I think that the growing kind of uncle role that Happy seems to be taking all of these. What is it? Where he's almost comic relief without being too Favreau-y comic relief in it, if that makes any sense. He's good Favreau rather than the bad Favreau. So I enjoyed his what is it with the interactions with the kids. I still think we don't see anywhere near enough Marissa Tomei in it, but then I think we don't see enough Marissa Tomei in anything. So yeah, but I think my only issue with the mid-credits bit was it felt a little bit too right-wing newsy. And for some reason it made me go, I don't know, I want that in this.
Again, I think that's something that they're taking from the modern comics and also the
video game.
I think that's them sort of going, all right, well, newspapers, who really knows what the fuck they are nowadays? So what do people know? Well, J. Jonah Jameson is essentially a Piers Morgan type.
It felt a little bit info.
They massively play on that in the PlayStation 4 game.
Do they? All right. Well, if it's part of the kind of what's going on, then that's different. But it did kind of make me go, right, I'm up for that, I'm up for that, I'm up for that, and then going, am I up for a politicized war?
No, I mean, I think they'll do it with the MCU light touch, even if it's just because Disney don't want to piss off too many right wing people. But it, like the game, it has J. Jonah Jameson as like a radio / podcast host who like is no longer with the Daily Bugle, but he's still fucking spouting off about Spider-Man. And with this, I mean, like you say, it is InfoWarsy, but you've got the thing Mysterio says at the end about these days people will believe anything. I think it is just taking that and running with it. And it's so good that they didn't bother recasting J. Jonah Jameson. It was like, yeah, J.K. Simmons is still perfectly good for it. Just fucking have him do it.
I think it gives you the opportunity this version of J. Jonah Jameson as well gives you the opportunity to just have him as almost like a cameo appearance in future films.
Yep.
So it's not, he's not in a whole sequence. He's not in a whole scene. He's not, setting anything up, or they're not introducing his son into the story or anything like that. Or, you're not seeing him on a day-to-day basis because Peter's not really a photojournalist. He's certainly not working for the Daily Bugle. They're not going down that classic, as I say, sort of age stuff. They're doing a more modern thing. This gives them an opportunity to bring J. Jonah Jameson into it, just have him pop up every now and again and say, Spider-Man's a menace, and wave his fist around. So I think it's just a nice way around it. And for J.K. Simmons as well, it's, he's getting on a bit. He probably don't want to be on the set of a major blockbuster, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's nice that they are at a point where they don't have to just go like, we need to differentiate completely from the old films, and they're willing to go, all right, then let's pick this up. That I don't know. I just think that's really charming.
It is a nice way of rather than people saying, well, he's not as good as J.K. Simmons in that role. It's got to have gone, well, do you know what? We need the perfect J.K. Simmons. And they've gone, do you know who the perfect J.K. Simmons is? What? Well, we fucking all know.
Yeah.
I've got to say as well, it was my reaction to it was just just air leaving my body. It was just, was not expecting it at all. And I just, as soon as he popped up on that screen, I heard his voice. Air just left my body. I just sort of went, and just this wave of just relief and just unexpected joy. Just so good.
I don't know. Just the way that it was. I really like the mirror of the what the fuck bit from the end of Spider-Man: Homecoming as well. And I mean, it's a hell of a fucking cliffhanger, that is. What I will say as well, I said this on the WhatsApp, what I really like about that mid-credits bit is that it's the first ever time I think we've ever seen Spider-Man swinging with anyone, and at the end, that person going like, yeah, don't ever do that again.
I don't like that. Yeah.
Fair fucking play. And
it puts in the ground that it buries that fucking horrible sequence in Spider-Man 2. Oh no, it's the first one. In the first Spider-Man film, where fucking Kirsten Dunst is swinging through the air with like a mannequin, just of Spider-Man. It just looks awful. Do you know the shot I mean, where she's wearing that red dress? He's just saved her from the Green Goblin, and she's swinging with him, and it's just a mannequin in a spider suit. Awful.
Like the way that stuff's shot, when it's really close in on her, with just things like zooming past in the background, she just looks like she's shitting herself. Like, just the fact that she does not look like she's enjoying it at all. Like, that's a really, really good bit of direction, that. And I did think it was a bit weird that from the end of Homecoming, where it was like he was obsessed with the other girl, and then at the start of this one, he's really into MJ. And I understand some time's passed, but it was it was a little bit odd, because I literally watched Homecoming on like Monday and Tuesday morning, and watched Far From Home on Tuesday, and they don't have any will they, won't they at all, like at all. And suddenly, like, the first scene of this film after the Mysterio is, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that because I want to get with MJ. It was weird.
It is, and I think in the first film, it's more about sort of she's paying him a lot of attention, but she doesn't want to make out that she's paying him a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I was one of the people who came out and said, you know, when they revealed that she was MJ at the end of the first film, I didn't have a problem with it because of anything like skin color or anything like that she didn't have red hair or anything stupid like that. It was just a bit like, well, why? Like, why does that matter? Like, what does it matter that she's MJ? Like, there's nothing, it doesn't need to be her. So I kind of didn't like that reveal in the first Spider-Man film. Whereas now, having actually seen their relationship a little bit better and seen her do a bit more as a character and be a bit more present, I really like their relationship. I really like her as MJ. I want her to be, and she's not going to be classic MJ, you know, but like I say, they're not really doing classic now. They're doing something else, and I'm all for that. Like, you know, we've supposedly seen classic MJ in the past, and this is something new, so I'm happy to have something new.
No, absolutely. Like Zendaya.
I get what you're saying, though. It is a bit of a, you know, it is a bit of a right now. Now they're in love, and we're following that. I totally get it.
It was like if he fell for her over the course of the trip or something, then I don't know. It would make more. Even if she was into him from the start because of Homecoming, and he fell for her through the course of the film, then yeah, all right, then fair enough. I mean, these are quibbles. That's the thing, because I really fucking like the film. It just, and they are quibbles, but maybe I have been too negative. It's a very, very, very charming film, and there's not enough of that in the MCU. Like, there's not enough kind of like innocent, not necessarily knowing stuff. Like the humor of the MCU has been very, very much modeled on Iron Man, where an awful lot of it is kind of like almost like sarcastic quipping. And I like that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I like way more MCU films than I'm even apathetic to. But I like the fact that both of these films base their humor in a more natural.
Yeah.
Like, and you know,
It's not smart ass stuff. It's
not smart ass. You know, and it's like the smart ass in this film is like Flash Thompson, and he's a bit of a jackass. But even at the end, you do feel a bit sorry for him. With that bit at the end where they're like, "Mama couldn't pick me up," you know, like it's. And the fact that he likes Spider-Man as well, like he respects Spider-Man. He's a dick to Peter Parker, but the fact that he's not just an arsehole who hates everyone. It just, for some reason, he's got a thing against Peter Parker. And also, that whole thing with that Brad guy, like the blip, and he came back like 5 years later and he was buff and shit. Like, I don't know. That was fun. If anything, I could have done with more of that.
I quite enjoyed the Martin Starr. My wife pretended she went away in the blip, but really she ran away.
Forgot about that.
It's just them two, the JB Smoove and Martin Starr. There was just a I'd happily watch when they did Anchorman 2 before they did Anchorman 2, where it was just offcuts.
What, Wake Up Ron Burgundy?
Yeah, I'd happily watch a Far From Home 2.0 where it's none of the Spider-Man stuff, it's just them two on their little holiday.
Yeah. I will just say, sort of, you know, well, I absolutely agree. The sort of tone and the comedic style of it being different to Marvel is great, and the lighter tone of it, the stakes being lower and everything like that, and it not sort of treading a sort of dark path. There is one scene in it that I really, really liked, and I think probably will not get picked up on too much, and I think we shouldn't sort of underestimate some of Tom Holland's performances in this, because although this is light and comedic, he's very, very, very good and very, very, very charming. But there's one scene in particular where I think it's the point before, it's where Happy picks him up in the plane from Holland.
Yeah.
And he gets in the plane, and first of all, there's the scene before that I'll come back to, but it's this moment where he's on the plane with Happy and he's like, I don't want this and I can't do this. I'm scared and this is too much pressure and I don't know what the fuck to do. And his eyes are red and he's crying and he's upset. And it's like, fucking hell, he's really selling me on this at the moment. He really, Tom Holland does this thing where, yes, he's charming and yes, he's cheeky Tom Holland and stuff like that. But every now and again, and I can I can point to very specific moments where he does it. He just does little things with his face where he reminds you that this is supposed to be a 16-year-old kid, a really scared, confused 16-year-old kid. So, you know, there's the moment on the plane in this. There's the moment in Infinity War where Tony says, "Congratulations, kid, you're an Avenger," and then walks away. And he does this sort of like little sort of smile and twitch sort of thing, which is just brilliant. And then obviously there's the death scene at the end of Infinity War as well, where he says, "I don't want to go." Tom Holland has just this magnificent way of reminding you every now and again that this is a kid who is not, you know, he's not the same age as Thor or Iron Man or any of these people around him. He is a kid at high school, and this is a fucking lot for him to be taking on. So I mean, yeah, I think massive props to Tom Holland. I'm sure everybody has their favourite Spider-Man, and they're entitled to that, but there's no competition for me. I mean, he's excellent in this role.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Absolutely.
It's kind of weird looking at Tobey Maguire at this point and thinking, you were playing a high school student.
Yeah, you look like 50.
And nobody remembers Andrew Garfield, bless him. So
no, I think even Andrew Garfield's kind of pushed that out of his memory.
Andrew Garfield's very glad nobody mentions the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
I get the feeling if you met Andrew Garfield and started talking to him about the Amazing Spider-Man films, he'd be like, I think you've got the wrong guy. He genuinely wouldn't remember. He'd be like, no, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't.
I swear I read an interview with him where he says he is disappointed with how that went. because he was a genuine fan, and it just, I mean, shit, man, I haven't seen The Amazing Spider-Man 2 since the cinema, and at this point, it's almost like, what would be the point?
Yeah, it was on probably ITV2 recently, and I watched about an hour of it, and it's as bad as you remember. It's Batman and Robin levels of comic book bad.
I quite enjoyed it in the cinema. That's the thing. I remember defending it.
I enjoyed it in the cinema. I have watched it since the cinema. Go to you.
Okay.
The cinema. I think we were both quite behind it, and then I watched it afterwards and went, oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Okay, kind of feels like we're probably done on Spider-Man Far From Home. So I will just say as well, the post-credits actually sorted out an issue for me where I thought Samuel L. Jackson was just being like 10% more dickhead than I thought he needed to be.
I turned around to Becky at one point during the movie and whispered, more like, in a very jokey way, by the way, more like, prick fury, am I right? Because he was just being a dick.
Yeah, and it's like, yep, that I could believe is Ben Mendelsohn's alien character pretending to be Nick Fury and just making up
it a little bit.
Yeah, just hamming it up, and it's like, yeah, and I would like to think that they knew that post credits bit was coming all along.
Yeah,
because
I think so.
That's, I don't know. It's just some really, I mean, like, John Watts doesn't get talked about much. I mean, none of the Marvel directors get talked about a lot unless they're to the Russo brothers or Taika Waititi. But Watts, I think he does some really good, interesting shit here. Like, I rewatched Homecoming, and that fucking scene where Michael Keaton is driving them to the Homecoming is fucking brilliant. And the way that Keaton's eyes are just kind of like thinking and looking, and even there's like a shot where there are like traffic lights, and there's Keaton has a realization, and the red kind of flows on his face. It's like, yeah, that's cool, and just the way that John Watts would have had to kind of like mess with Jackson's performance of Nick Fury, because obviously he's quite a few films in now, and he knows kind of what he's doing, but he's had to kind of modularize it to be, all right, with this, can you just be that much more of an arsehole to Peter in this bit? You know, I don't know. Watts is not getting credit, and I think he deserves it, and just for the breeziness he brings to these films.
And he's 4 for 4 in total of all his films for me.
Yeah, because I haven't seen Cop Car, but Clown's a good fucking brutal.
You've not seen Cop Car?
No.
Oh, Cop Car's worth giving a go. It start off 88 minutes long.
Nice.
And yeah, it's if you like that scene in Homecoming, that's basically a lot of that is Cop Car.
Ah, sweet. But yeah,
one thing I would say is that sort of that post-credit sequence, I was glad of it in one way, because like you, Ian, I got the sense that Nick Fury was different and he was being a bit more of a dick. But also, what was troubling me was that I knew that Quentin Beck was going to turn out to be a bad guy, and I knew that this was how things were going, and I knew that that this tech was going to get handed over to him and all this type of thing. That all felt like the kind of thing that Nick Fury would know. Like, knowing what we know about him, he's smarter than that, and he's very paranoid. They even say it at one point. You know, Quentin Beck says something about, like, you know, I'm dealing with Nick Fury, who's like the most powerful and paranoid guy in the world, who's been around and seen this and seen that. And it's like, and he's got no clue that this is all a setup and stuff. So, so I was a bit sort of like, I feel like Nick Fury would be aware of this. So that post-credit sequence did fix that for me. But at the same time, it's sort of it opens too many. It throws open too many questions as well, sort of unnecessary questions. Like, all right, well, how long has this been happening? Has this been happening since the 90s? Do we, in certain situations, can we go back and go,
oh, shit, yeah.
We now go back and go, oh, actually, it was Nick Fury that did this. Or, how does it affect the death of Nick Fury in, is that Civil War? Like, is that connected to it? Like, it blows open all these questions, and I'm a bit like, oh shit. I felt like that phase of the MCU was over and complete, and now I've got to look at it thinking, was that actually Nick Fury? So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's fair and fucking hell.
I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, it's a good point, that.
I know, I just slightly got the sense that Nick Fury just wanted to have a bit of a holiday, and he was probably advising all the way through.
Yeah,
but then again, he says, like, well, we gave the glasses to the kid last week and then it got busy or whatever he says. I don't know. The thing is, I forgive all that because I just love seeing Ben Mendelsohn play a goofy good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really want to see that continue. So I don't know. Good on Ben Mendelsohn, because that easily could have been like a one and done thing. So it is just fun to see him turn up again.
Definitely, yeah. It's a minor thing. It's a minor thing, but
No, but I get what you're saying. Okay, so it sounds like we're all definitely not shit.
Yeah, definitely not shit. Audience vote, definitely not shit, 63%. Touching cloth, 13%. Shit, 13%. And Geostorm, 11%.
Nice. Okay.
Geostorm, 11%. Really?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that's a little bit odd.
I'm not convinced people understand your Geostorm rating.
That's there.
A lot of the time, you get sort of random Geostorm percentages, and I'm a bit like, what? Really?
Okie dokie. So, should we do some Shaft?
I think we should get shafted, yeah.
Let's get shafted, yeah.
Oh. So my blood is collecting checks from the FBI?
That's right.
How does it feel to be working for the man?
You mean having an actual job? Like paying taxes, not living off the grid in a all-cash sublet? It's great.
So, you in the city now? No, don't tell me. Down in Soho, exposed brick loft with a bi-curious roommate, a little furry-ass dog, and a farmhouse sink.
You been stalking my Facebook?
I look like I'm on Facebook, motherfucker?
Shaft is directed by Tim Story and stars Jesse Usher, Samuel L. Jackson, Richard Roundtree, Alexandra Shipp, and Regina King and others. So, this one has young Shaft, played by Jesse Usher, whose friend is killed in an apparent drug overdose, but he doesn't believe it. He enlists the help of older Shaft, played by Samuel L. Jackson, his dad, who they've not seen each other for many years, and later on in the film they enlist the help of oldest Shaft, played by Richard Roundtree, and together they all kick some ass and say some inappropriate things, and it just all feels very old school. So this is on Netflix in the UK, with Warner having signed a deal with Netflix in territories other than the US to release this a couple of weeks after it came out in the US. Bombed in the US, funnily enough, so Warner obviously smelt the blood in the water. But we get to see it at home on Netflix, but it's not in 4K, the bastards. Mark, what did you think of Shaft?
I fucking loved it. To be honest, I had a great time with it. I laughed a lot. It's got one of my favourite scenes of the year in it. I enjoy the fact that it's not giving. It's basically being the characters it is. It's not giving a shit about offending people, but at the same time, it's not. I don't think it's reveling in it. It's more kind of pointing out its own inappropriateness, which was quite amusing in a way. Samuel Jackson is clearly. I like the fact that Samuel Jackson is still just doing whatever the fuck he wants to. This is a guy who, for now getting on 25 years, has basically just done whatever the fuck he wants to. And this is what, his 4th movie out this year, I think? Right in saying that?
Could well be.
And it's kind of one of those things where you've got Samuel Jackson has been in, this year? So he's in Endgame, isn't he?
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So Samuel Jackson has been in movies that have grossed, 4 billion almost this year? It'll be around 4 billion probably, won't it, once Spider-Man finishes. And yet he's still off doing Shaft. But he just doesn't need to, but fuck it, he wants to.
Go do your thing, Noel.
Sorry. So I really enjoyed that. The kid playing youngest Shaft is very entertaining.
Which is bizarre, because I agree, but he's the skin job from Independence Day Resurgence.
Yeah. Which is mental.
And yet he's, like, super charming in this, and I like the fact that even by the end of the film, he's not, like, badass motherfucker. He's still finding it hard to break through windows.
Yeah, I also as well the fact that he doesn't, because you're thinking, what they could have gone for at the end was him either punching his boss or going to punch his boss, hitting him, then walking away going,
Yeah.
But they don't. He kind of politely says no and then walks out. But yeah, the contrasting scenes of the shootouts were great for me. So you've got the Shaft and his mom shootout with the typical Shaft soundtrack, and then you've got his shootout with, I can't remember the fucking song now.
Shit! Be My Baby.
Yeah, we've got Be My Baby on that, where he's just he literally is so calm with just shooting all those guys, with that going on in slow-mo, with her just kind of watching from underneath the table, is wonderful. That was one of my favourite scenes of the year. That I had an absolute fucking blast with this movie. I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's in this day and age, you can see why Warner were like, yeah, maybe this should be a Netflix one, because it's anachronistic. A lot of the jokes won't go down very well with people these days. I mean, it does make me feel old. I already know it's a film that if Lottie ever sees it when she's like 20, 25, she'll be like, Dad, what the fuck? But I'll just be like, no, what the fuck you? It's the kind of like the conspiracy plot in it is very, very derivative of a lot of 80s, 90s, noughties action comedies. But Samuel L. Jackson is a fucking riot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an equal opportunities. What is it? I'm an equal opportunities. Whoop-asser. Yeah, brilliant. Oh, that's it. It's like, I didn't talk about a gender. I'm an equal opportunities ass whooper. I don't know. Like,
yeah, you brought gender, which is kind of, you watch it going, he's right, actually. You know, he is right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the film does feel a little bit old man shouting at young people in a way, but also it's old man shouting at young people while he has his music up really loud.
Yeah, there's a wonder to it where, for instance, where he's like when he's drunk and he brings him back to what is it and says, "Can you get me a coconut water? I need to get my electrolytes up." And he doesn't the box coconut water. He goes over, gets the coconut water out, opens it, goes to him, lays asleep, takes it and goes, "Oh, the fucking shit is that?" And the thing is, he's right. Coconut water tastes like shit. it's very good for you, but it doesn't stop the fact that it does taste like shit. I enjoyed bits like that. He's not an unmitigated prick. It's just he's kind of calling him on his idiosyncratic ways, which is quite nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Noel, what do you think?
I'd go as far as to say this is probably one of the most surprising films I've seen in years. Just
Agreed.
Surprisingly good. Like, I was not expecting. I think I actually said to you, I'll probably just put it on in the background while I'm doing something else. And then as soon as it started, I was like, no, I'm up for this. This is nice outdoor, just bright and crime and fun and Samuel L. Jackson, and just I think what sold me on it immediately is it became, first of all, I was worried about the lead actor, the young lead actor. I was a bit like, he's going to be a skin job. And then he came across really well. He was funny, he was charming, I liked him straight away. Then Samuel L. Jackson shows up and he's just clearly having a fucking ball. And I just loved watching the two of them bounce off one another. And this sort of almost Beverly Hills Cop style, sort of street level, detective shit that's going on. I was well up for it. I think there is an element of, let's focus on the differences between these two people, sort of generationally as well as approach wise. But I think that's great, and it's okay that it's okay that it's old man yelling at young man quite a lot, because when that old man is Samuel L. Jackson and he's yelling things like, don't throw the fucking guns out the window, there's kids who live around here. When it's stuff like that, it's like, no, this is great, I'm really into this. So yeah, massive surprise for me. I had a fucking amazing time with it. I would watch another, but I don't think we will get another.
There's no fucking way will we get another. Yeah,
we won't get another unless this does fucking booming numbers on Netflix, like insane numbers on Netflix, and Netflix turn around and go, can we make another one? Can we do another one? Which I can't see happening. But it would be nice. There was a lot of moments that just made me laugh out loud, and I did find myself turning around looking at Becky going, why are you laughing at this? It's like, just not that funny. She enjoyed it, but just clearly not as much as me. Like when Regina Hall is talking to herself in the mirror, and then when she walks away and that woman was just stood next to her, that fucking killed me.
Yeah.
That was good. I like the taxi driver bit. Sorry, the taxi driver bit where it's just like, when you're talking so loud, I thought I was involved in your conversation. I don't know. It's good stuff.
When he asked her a question about where she goes, like, are you talking to me now?
Yeah.
Just to say on the sequel thing as well, as much as I would say, yes, I would watch another one, there is also a part of me that thinks, I don't think we need another one because I don't think I'd like where it would go. I imagine if there was a sequel, it would, the journey for this kid is complete now, and he's sort of, he's a semi-shaft, if you like, and we've got a few laughs at the fact that he's a metropolitan young man. Metropolitan? Is that right?
Metrosexual.
Metrosexual, that's what I'm looking for. He is a sort of metrosexual young lad, and Shaft is most definitely not. I wonder how much more humour we could get out of that, and if actually this is enough in this film. So as much as I say I'd like to see a sequel, I would watch a sequel. I think actually it's kind of perfect the way it is, and if it does get left here, then I'm sort of fine with that at the same time.
Yeah, I'd happily. I will rewatch this. Without question, just for the sheer comedic value of it, and the Samuel L. Jackson constantly asking Regina Hall for some pussy is quite nice.
Because it's Netflix, it will always be there. We already own it. It's never going anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, good. Well, that was quick, but fair enough. Definitely not shit.
It's quick because there's not that much there. It's a Shaft movie. So imagine a Shaft movie but it's actually really surprisingly good.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the perfect, I think, description for Shaft, essentially. Yeah, I'm definitely not shit. It'll either be my most surprising of the year, or at the moment there's a possibility it'll be my top 10 of the year.
Nice. I definitely not shit, and I think a big part of it is the surprise element of it. I don't remember the last Samuel L. Jackson Shaft movie at all, and I think that was part of it. I didn't know what to expect tonally from it, but I just had a massive good time with it.
Not a million miles away from this, to be honest.
Right.
I rewatched it only about 18 months ago, and it's not quite as playing for laughs as this is, but it is actually quite entertaining. And it's the bad guy in it is Christian Bale, so that's quite entertaining.
Is it?
Yeah, the bad guy in it is Christian Bale and Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright is playing a Latino in it, which is quite amusing.
That's crazy. I might actually watch that. You know,
it's.
I mean, I've definitely seen it. I just can't remember it.
It's a movie that was made in 2000 that looked like they wanted to make it in 1997, but Samuel L. Jackson was just too busy for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Our audience vote was definitely not shit, 75%.
Oh, good.
0 and shit 25.
Okay, well, most people are right.
Yeah.
So, Noel, do you need to get off or anything, bud? We're going to do some what we've been watching. You're welcome to join, but I'm mindful that
I've not got much that I watched. All I watched. What did I watch? I watched. I finally got around to Happy Death Day to You.
Oh, what do you think? What do you think? Yeah, fun. Yeah.
It was fun. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as the first one, but I still enjoy that character. I think the thing that I liked about the first one was her arc, her journey, and I think in this one you don't really get that. So it's a lot of fun, and it's interesting to see him take it in a different direction, like a sci-fi direction, and not focus on the slasher element, because actually the slasher element is not the most interesting thing about it. So I enjoyed it, but I didn't quite enjoy it quite as much as the first one. So yeah.
Okay.
That's about all I saw anyway. So I'll leave you to it, and I'm gonna go to bed because.
Nice one. Thank you very much, Noel.
Thank you very much, Noel.
All right, take care, folks. Bye.
Cheers, bud. So, Mark, what have you been watching?
Only got a couple this week. Had a busy old week. We're doing some renovations and stuff in the living room and bits like that. So I've not got around to watching as much. Finally got around to watching Assassin's Creed.
Oh shit! All right, yeah.
Really boring.
Yeah, it is.
Really boring. Holy shit! It's only 115 minutes long. I generally thought it was about 2.5 hours long. It's really boring. I was that bored that I watched it literally. I watched it a week ago today because we were recording last week and Becky downloaded the BioShock games literally as we finished, and I watched it that night. I literally, like I said in the podcast, I got sent upstairs to watch it while she played BioShock, and that thing that I chose to watch was Assassin's Creed. It's really boring. I can remember very, very little about it other than that he jumps off stuff and rides horses, and I found it as boring as I found the game, to be honest.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
It's weird the fact that movie could have made a shitload of money and done really well, but what they did was they tried to make it more interesting and more serious and art house by going for that type of director. What they ended up doing was cursing the whole fucking thing because it wasn't anywhere near entertaining enough, as if they'd given it to fucking, I don't know, Joe Johnson or something like that.
That's a good point.
It would have been a better and more interesting movie if they'd have just not taken it as serious. A movie that definitely doesn't take itself serious is 30 Minutes or Less, that I also watched this week. Another one that is a banger of 83 minutes. Literally gets the fuck out of this movie.
Yeah, you can't complain with that, can you?
No, you can't. And it actually it's the perfect length for it. And I really enjoy 30 minutes or less because the simple fact is it's got a lot of Danny McBride in it. And it's nice seeing a lot of Danny McBride in things. And he's doing his McBridey thing in this. But also you get a few kind of nods. And what I've noticed actually in watching this and Tropic Thunder last week is you get a few nods where Danny McBride's characters are referencing like old style like horror films and things like that. Which then when he wrote Halloween and he was in Alien, the Alien Covenant, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You start to realise, all right, so yeah, that there's a lot of fucking connective tissue here that kind of makes sense. But 30 Minutes or Less remains a very, very entertaining movie, to be honest. And it's made me go, right, I rewatched Gangster Squad recently and enjoyed that more on my rewatch. And I know Ruben Fleischer's he's got the Zombieland, second Zombieland movie comes out, I think, later on this year, doesn't it?
Yeah, October,
yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I also quite enjoyed Venom, so fuck it. And I dig that guy's vibe of his movies, but this is it's a very amusing kind of throwaway comedy that actually has some good laughs in it.
Good for you, man. Fair play.
And my final one, a movie that I think I have seen more times than if you cumulatively took everybody else in the world that's seen it and added them together. I think I've seen this film more times. A good old-fashioned orgy.
Yeah, you fucking love that film, eh?
I do really like that movie. And the thing is, I was watching it thinking, going. Every time I turn it on, I think, right, is this the time where I watch it and go, yeah, all right, fair enough. Yeah, I'm the idiot. But I genuinely, every time I watch it, I come away going, no, this is this is a great, like, late 80s, late night comedy made in 2011. If this movie was made between 1987 and 1991, there'd be an Arrow release of it by now.
Yeah.
And people would be talking about it as, oh, what a great, fun movie. And the thing is, it is a great, fun movie. It doesn't drag itself down. For people who don't know, because not a lot of people know this movie, it's directed by Alexander Gregory and Peter Hayek. Stars, it's a fucking hell of a cast as well. Jason Sudeikis, Leslie Bibb, Bell, Michelle Borth, Nick Kroll, Tyler Bean, Alexander Seyfried, Lindsay Sloan, Martin Starr, Will Forte, and Lucy Punch. Oh, and David Koechner are in it as well. Oh, Lynn Shay plays a real estater who also is a member of an underground sex club where she pegs people. So, yeah. Gotta love Lynn Shay. She will.
Do love Lynn Shay.
Fucking rolls. So, Jason Sudeikis plays Eric, who's your standard middle-aged guy who is still adolescent, is what you'd say. He still likes to party and treat himself like, he's not like quite a frat boy, but he very much has his job, and then he has his dad's summer house that he goes to in the Hamptons on a weekend and parties with his friends. His then dad tells him he's going to sell the house because he's hardly ever there, and so he plans with all of his closest friends that he has from high school who still hang out there a big bash for the Labor Day weekend. That bang, it's going to go out. Rather than having a big party for everybody, they're going to throw an orgy. And then all the different trials and things that come up with that come up, and hilarity ensues. But I really, really do enjoy this movie. And I bought it on iTunes for $1.99, and I think I've watched it about 4 times since I bought it on iTunes.
$1.99?
I bought it for $1.99.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that was a good couple of years ago, though. not sure how much it is now, but I guarantee it won't be anything more than like $2 or $3.99. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed my time again with a good old-fashioned orgy. So what have you been watching?
Oh, fair play. So I'll lead with yesterday. So yeah, managed to go catch this at the weekend. So this is the Danny Boyle directed kind of romantic comedy drama that uses the music of the Beatles. It's fair to say it's not a Beatles biopic in the fucking slightest, just because the Beatles aren't in it really. So I actually only got two other things because we talked about quite a bit this week. But yeah, so basically, story is Himesh Patel, who was Timur on EastEnders, plays Jack, a kind of budding musician who kind of decides to jack it all in, funnily enough, because he's not really getting anywhere with his self-penned music. His manager / love interest is played by Lily James. Jack gets into a bus accident. He's on a bike, runs into a bus just when the world's power goes out for 12 seconds. And when he comes to and whatnot, he soon realises that nobody knows who the Beatles are. And he decides to basically take their music and get a career out of it. So it's an odd duck of a film, is Yesterday. It's very much written by Richard Curtis, in so much that it manages to do conventional rom-com type stuff, but also manages to gut punch you in moments. Do you mind if I do spoilers for Yesterday?
No.
Right, so I'm going to say right now, spoilers for Yesterday, and if you have any interest in seeing Yesterday, I would advise not listening to the next minute or so.
What I was saying though is I actually do intend to see it, but I just do not mind about spoilers for it. So I'm not an anti-Yesterday fan.
Really?
Honestly, I don't care. No,
okay.
Don't bother.
So late on in the film, there is a sequence where Jack is... essentially, it turns out that there are a couple other people in the world who remember the Beatles, and they're kind of an ominous figure through the course of the film, but it actually turns out that they just want to thank him because they don't have song singing talent, but they're just glad that other people are going to know the music of the Beatles, which is a really nice touch. But then Jack thinks, is this right that I'm the person to do this? And so he's given the address of John Lennon. And he meets John Lennon. And he's still alive. And he's played by Robert Carlyle. And
all right.
It's this scene where John Lennon is really happy. And, you know, obviously he's never heard of the Beatles. It just, for whatever reason, it never happened. He's happy, and they talk about his life, and he's in his late 70s, and he's lived a life. He had a woman that he loved. He's sailed around the world, and he is content. And it's just this lovely fantasy element, which is kind of stands out like a sore thumb, and it's kind of symptomatic of the film, because there are things that stand out like a sore thumb in this film. Like, the editing just doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't quite feel like it's finished, even. Towards the end, there's a love interest rival. It's fucking fascinating. They're backstage at a gig, and you've got Jack, you've got Lily James, you've got love interest rival, and this random woman who's really prominently in the shot. And it kind of focuses on her a little bit. And then at the end of the film, it's like, right, love interest rival got with her. And from the shot placement, it looks like she's important. But it feels like this connective tissue is missing. It's like this woman has gone from random person backstage at a gig who's just weirdly prominently placed to oh, the love interest rival's all right because he hooked up with her. It's very odd.
Yeah.
But I've said this on the WhatsApp. Lily James is incredible. Like, just as a presence, that woman is something else. I wish she had more to do in this film. But
I read that as a bit of a criticism that she, beyond the bits that because she sings in it, doesn't she?
a tiny bit.
Because she's on the soundtrack quite a bit, I think, isn't she? Oh, no, I'll rephrase that. The soundtrack advert that was on before, there wasn't a trailer for yesterday, but there was a trailer for the soundtrack for yesterday before Spider-Man, and it made out that she was on the soundtrack a lot.
No. She does kind of like backing vocals a couple of times.
It's literally, it's almost like she's featured in it as much as he is.
No, which is weird considering, Mamma Mia, here we go again, the girl can sing.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I'm a little bit worried that my literally how much I like Lily James is influencing me.
I think that's perfectly okay.
She's a woman and a half. But her kind of longing for Jack through the whole film and her heartbreak is very, very, very well done. Himesh Patel is really good. He's charming. He kind of knows that he's not the be all and end all. Like the trials that he goes through are well done. Danny Boyle's direction, there's some really interesting shit in here where he's trying to remember the lyrics to Beatles songs because he doesn't just automatically know all the lyrics, but because he doesn't have any frame of reference anywhere, he's trying to remember them. And the way that it's sort of like it, that the thinking of the lyrics to Eleanor Rigby is this really interesting thing where he's thinking about it and it's kind of playing with images in his head. So I don't know, it's odd. It doesn't feel as polished a film as you would expect a film which licenses the music of the Beatles to do. And I will also say as well, the marketing was annoying because the marketing looks like it's leading the film down some avenues. Have you seen the trailer where at the end there's a bit with James Corden?
No.
Okay. So there's a bit where it's he's on the Late Show with James Corden, and James Corden's like, well, it's interesting that you say you wrote all the music because there are two guys who claim that they wrote the music and they were in a band called the Beatles. Why don't we bring them out? And in the trailer, there's this shot of like two men from behind him walking out from the crowd. In the film, that's a dream sequence. He just wakes up. And then there's another bit where, again, he's on the Late Show and he's singing a song to a woman. And then it cuts to a shot of Lily James looking jealous. And it's like, oh, right, okay, so he's going to get all Hollywood and start dating a Hollywood star or something. No, that's not in there at all. It all just feels a bit ramshackle, and the way the last act plays out does almost feel like they were slightly making it up as they went along. But I'm sure they weren't. It's odd. It's really odd, but it's very charming. The John Lennon bit quietly destroyed me, because I wasn't expecting it, and it just, I know I've said it here, but it would be interesting to see what people think of it, knowing it, and also I did warn that I was going to spoil it. And Lily James is kind of perfection. So
she is delightful.
Yeah, I really liked yesterday, but fuck me, there are problems with it.
Your liking of it has made me want to see it more.
Yeah, I mean, I would. I think it would be a perfectly good at-home watch. And I mean, I don't know. It's not a perfect film, don't get me wrong. It won't be in my top 10 at the end of the year, but I think I will rewatch it more than a lot of films that will be in my top 10 of the year.
That makes sense. I get what you mean.
Yeah. Okay, one more for me. Criterion Channel watch. Managed to VPN it and get the Apple TV app sorted and whatnot. So I watched Don Siegel's The Lineup. Have you seen this?
I think I have, yeah.
It's interesting because it comes up at the start saying Eli Wallach, The Lineup. And then for the first half hour, Eli Wallach's not in it, and it's these two police officers basically on the trail of some drug smugglers. And it's okay, when's Eli Wallach turning up? And then he's basically in every scene for the last hour, and he's this drug smuggler guy who's in town with a job to do, where he's got to pick up all these shipments, and the police officers are kind of after him, but it always feels like they're slightly behind him. And Eli Wallach is this kind of psychopath in training, but he's not quite there, so there's frailty to him. Really interesting, fun, short, and also is quite a loving tribute to the average officer plod of San Francisco. I really liked it. I don't think it's on Criterion Channel anymore. I think it expired end of June. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And Don Siegel, he was a class act.
Yeah.
And that's me. So, what Twitter questions we got, bud?
Well, I'll just pull them up. Give me 2 seconds. So, our question for the guys was, if you is to pick your ideal superhero film, which hero, who stars, and who directs? Rick Kidd, I don't see another Drake, Carl Urban in it. Perhaps Denis Villeneuve directs his vision of Mega City. One could be awesome. Yeah, actually, it would be fucking pretty cool, actually, yeah. Plus, having Denis Villeneuve do that, I think it'd be I think it'd be on the gritty side of something like Prisoners rather than the futuristic side of something like Blade Runner. Brad says Cohen's directing a 1920s Art Deco set Superman starring whoever the heck they choose. So Steve Buscemi. Malin 181 at Malin 1811. Not a response from you guys, but very glad you've given this one here. I realise that he's more of a super villain, but I'd love to see Hollywood give Galactus another go. I've long thought that the Marco Utsumura would be a perfect role for him as far as who should direct. Wonder Woman is my favourite comic book film in the last 10 years, so Patty Jenkins, fair enough. And Martin Pazantian, Martin Pie are on Twitter, early Batman, but gender swap, so Millie Bobby Brown gets to be Bruce Wayne. That's a fucking shout, that one.
That is a swing.
And we've got just one question, partially because I forgot to ask for questions. But Rick did just ask the question based from this question, which is question for the bastards this week. A combination of which film genres / subgenres would be catnip to you? For me, it's dystopian, cyberpunk, neo-noir. I'm going to go for mine. Erotic neo-noir thriller, bang. Throwing money at it.
A what neo-noir?
Erotic neo-noir thriller.
Hang on, it's a comic book movie?
No, it doesn't have to be a comic book movie.
Oh, because I was going to say Banana Man, directed by Dexter Fletcher, but...
I would watch the fuck out of that. Isn't there a Banana Man movie coming soon?
Really?
I'm fucking sure there is. No, it's just any type of movie, any subgenre, any two kind of genre or subgenres smashed together, essentially.
I don't know. Banana Man musical biopic directed by Dexter Fletcher.
I'm sure there's a Banana Man movie fucking coming. It isn't listed, but I'm sure I saw a thing saying a Banana Man movie was on its way. I would watch this shit on Banana Man movie. It had one of the greatest opening credit sequence to any cartoon of all time.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, that and the raccoons.
Oh god, the raccoons, just because it was so long.
It was, wasn't it? It was so catchy as fuck. Gummy bears are a great one as well. Fucking hell, that is so mental that Gummy Bears, which were literally a sweet, had a TV show.
Yeah, sorry, I'm reading about Banana Man. March 2014, it was announced DC Thompson, in conjunction with Elstree Studio Productions, would make the film a release date in 2015. January 2016, the musicals page on the Banana Man musicals page on Facebook posted the movie adaptation is now in development. On 8th of June 2016, the now newly formed Beano Studios issued a press release. And yeah, by June 2017, the official site had been removed.
Ah, balls! We need to make the Banana Man movie happen. But
Banana Man.
Yeah, that went off on a fucking weird tangent. But yeah, mine would, a erotic neo-noir thriller. That would be catnip to me.
Nice, very good.
Yeah, that was the only question we had this week, because Mark forgot to ask for them.
Okay, so that'll do. It's been a long one anyway, so let's draw the curtain. So coming up on next week's show, I believe it's going to be Midsommar.
Oh yes.
All 2.5 hours of it.
Oh, 2.5 fucking hours.
Like,
fucking daylight.
I'm intrigued by that fucking film, but by Christ, could it be less than 2 hours?
Yeah.
But yeah.
The only word I've heard is that it's very funny.
I've heard surprisingly funny, and if Asta's actually fucking steering into that, then great. Maybe I do need to watch Hereditary and reconsider it as the comedy of 2018. I don't know.
I still do consider Hereditary as a comedy, and when people tell me it's categorically not, I'll go, maybe give it a rewatch.
Yeah.
I'm happy with a bit of comedy. Because I'm finding people who don't see it as a comedy, that's fine, but I had literally somebody shouting in my face once that it wasn't a comedy, and I was there going, every time you do that, it makes it more and more, it entrenches it as a comedy in my brain.
Yeah, it makes me think it's funnier. Yeah, that's fair. Cool. So, I'm Ian Loring, he's Mark Foster, this is Film Bastards. Becky will be back next week. At Film Bastards, at Dude Foz, actually, I'm taking a Twitter break. At IJ Loring on Instagram, filmbastards@gmail.com. We out. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now that